All right. So we are live. It's your girl, Candy with an E, and we are back. I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. So let's see who we got in the house because I'm telling you, today we're going to interview. I call her Dr. Deborah. So, she Dr. Deborah. So, whatever. She might not be, but she is now. How about that? Let's just, we're going to put hands on her. She going to be Dr. Deborah before the year over with or next year or something. You know what I'm saying? We're going to just throw it all out there. Okay. So, like I said, we live. We had a great weekend. Your girl got sick a little bit, but we ain't going to even worry about that. We're going to keep it moving. But like I said, today is Monday. It is the 3M Virtual Summit. So, some people want to know, and I always make sure I tell them, you know what I'm saying? The 3M's, motivation makes money, because when you motivate yourself, you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I always tell people, I am Neo. They like, why you always saying hashtag I am Neo? I'm Neo because when you just believe in yourself. If you haven't looked at the Matrix, go back and look at it. When he started believing in himself, he could do all types of stuff, dodging bullets and all kind of crazy crap. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't trying to dodge no bullets, but I can do everything else that I want to do. How about that, Jesus? But again, I'm your girl, Candy with an E. We getting started. It is 7:02. I'm going to give you one more minute to get on in here. And then we're going to bring Miss Deborah, Dr. Deborah. Yes, we speaking it out there. I'm going to keep on saying it. I'm going to keep on saying it until she actually tell me she a doctor. Then I probably forget she a doctor, because you know how we do. Well, anyway. So again, come on, speak to me. Tell me who in here. I know we got some people up in here with me. So tell me who we got up in here with me. Say hello. Say I'm in here. Say we live with you. Say something. But bring your friends, tell your friends to come on in, because it's the 3M Virtual Summit. We about to get started with Dr. Deborah. So you know what? It is 7:03, but we finna bring her on in and make it happen, okay? So let's bring on Dr. Deborah Franklin, and we're going to let her tell you who she is. How about that?
Well,
All
hello,
right.
everybody. Hey, 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 hey. Thank you, Candy, for having me on. I'm so excited because you started talking about the Matrix. I started to get my moves on. You know how you have to make sure you're in slow motion because
Exactly.
whatever happened, time gonna stand still for you to still make it and do what you got to do. That's what I love it. Because when we start thinking about the matrix, we need to apply the matrix to our lives all the time. Because even though things started to happen to them, it was like all the, if you remember, y'all see, I watch too much TV. That's my problem. Because when you look at the matrix, they always slowed it down and they slide and the bullet go, and then they slide and something else go. Woo. See, that's what God is doing in our lives right now. You thinking because you in this pandemic that everything is slowing you down, but what God is allowing, He's allowing it to slow down so you can go and yeah. See, that's what. See y'all. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What we supposed to be doing? Sorry.
That's what I'm talking about right now. You understand exactly what I mean about all of that, because even though we talking about the Matrix is a movie and everything, but if you actually pay attention to what the message was, then you will understand where we are. So again, this is Dr. Deborah A. Franklin. Yes, I'm gonna continue to say it, Jesus, because if she ain't one, she will be soon. Okay, but I want you to tell everybody who you are and what you do.
All right, my name is Deborah Franklin. Y'all, I'm so excited about being here. I am an author, a speaker, and a media coach, but most of all, I am a church girl CEO. I also host my own show called Conversations with Deborah Franklin, where it's conversations for the grown and sexy. And yes, I am still a church girl CEO because see, some of us need to start realizing that just because I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, baptized with a mighty burning fire, that I can still be grown and I can still be sexy, but it's all about how you handle it and box that thing up. So that's who I am every day, all day.
All right. So tell everybody a little bit about Conversations with Deborah.
Okay, so Conversations with Deborah is like, y'all, that was my baby. That is my baby. That is my baby. That's how I first started coming out. I wanted to get back into radio because my background is radio. And then I said, maybe we should start doing the podcast. Then I started going into the studio. We came up with all these names. And I said, you know what? Forget this. We're just going to call it Conversations with Deborah Franklin because that's what I like. I like for people to come on and just converse, have fun with the show. And then when we were in the studio, we were able to even have live performances. So I got to meet a lot of new artists because I feel like when you have a platform, you should be able to open it up to other people, because I always think about if somebody had just given me that one chance, that one try, that one anything, then where would I have been? And then if they had given it to me earlier, how much further along could I be if that had happened, that opportunity had happened? So that's one of my mainstays when I start talking about with Conversations with Deborah Franklin. Now, what we did just this past month, we had um, we did a whole series on church girl CEOs. We did a whole series about women in ministry who owned businesses. And y'all, that whole series just blew my whole mind. I had so many responses. I had so many women that were coming out talking about their businesses. And the crazy part, some of them didn't even realize or didn't really acknowledge that they were church girl CEOs. They would say it, they wouldn't say it, but it was like they kind of hid behind that. But I always tell everybody, to be a church girl CEO, the thing is that you're still a CEO, but what you have is you have an extra assurance that God is going to come through and help you through. Because remember that the Bible does say that your gift shall make room for you. And if your gift is making room for you, then you need to go out there and make room. And don't hide behind being a church girl, because then you got to start charging what you're worth. Because I'm not going to sit up here and downplay who I am and whose I am with the dollar amount. Now, am I challenged in that area? Most definitely. But I have friends that kick me in my high parts and be like, girl, what you doing? And so that's why you have to surround yourself with other women that are going to that next level, because you have to have that help. And the main thing is just get started. Don't get stuck in what you're doing and how you're doing it, but just get started, because then God is going to start enlarging your territory and enlarging your circle with other women that are willing to pour into you what you need to go to that next level. And then, okay, y'all, I know I'm going on about this, but I got to, this is something that really is, I'm passionate about, because a lot of times we don't make it to the next level because we are afraid to ask for help. And then we start looking at the trials and tribulations that are around us, so we don't take it to the next level, when all it was just was a stumbling block. All it was just like a yield sign and not a stop sign. But sometimes we mix them up. We think it's red when it's really yellow. And so we got to start operating in that vein. We have to start operating in a way that we sit back and analyze the situation. Because you know what? God is not going to let you get to a certain spot and then just be like, deuces. No, it don't work like that. You might have to like pause for a little bit and get and reevaluate some stuff. But God is not going to get you to a certain spot to do. And then when your vision is bigger than what you expect, then you know that's the right vision, because he's not going to give you a vision without provision. All right, I'm sorry. I think I might have got a little churchy on y'all, a little too much, a little too quick. Amen.
Hey, at the end of the day, this is what they need. And sometimes when you go live, you don't know what God gonna put on your heart to say, and you just got to say it. So hey, if we need to go to church today, guess what? We just went to church, and we might be going to church again. How about that?
Amen and
So
hallelujah.
exactly. So tell people about your coaching program, because I know you have a coaching program as well.
Yes, I have two. One is that I'm a media coach, and a lot of times people don't understand what a media coach is. A media coach is someone that helps you do interviews like we're doing now. That's what a media coach is. And sometimes it's just practicing how to say your name, how to answer questions, how to be on target about what you're doing and where you're going. Because a lot of times everybody wants to do all these podcasts. And this is okay, y'all, because I host my own show. When I tell you, some of my guests have seared a hole right here in this eyeball, and I be wanting to just like, okay, y'all really working every piece of my nerve, because it's simple things that if you had had a coach then you would be able to take your interviews to a next level. People are only going to interview more if they know you have something to say and or how you conduct yourself during the interview. An interviewer's job is not to sit there and ask you 9 million questions to stoke you to answer the question. The interviewer's job is to give you the question, you answer it with details, and then you can go to the next level. And then your answer should spark another question. I cannot stand when people show up with these pre-made questions and answers, because that you don't get to see the authentic person. Because when you get ready to, if okay, so all right, so you got a hair salon, you do hair, you got a couple products, okay, but what inspired you? And if you don't know how to answer that question, what is your muse? And then I hate asking people questions and then they look at me because they don't know what the word means. That means you need to expand your vocabulary. I'm sorry. It's just certain things you just have to do when you are when you are trying to be in the media. You want to get on, you want to be on everybody's podcast, but then when you get on there, you a hot mess. Or my new pet peeve, you sign up to be on the podcast and you don't show up. Because then you just messed up somebody's platform. You just made them scramble for a week or so to find a guest to fill in the spot that you signed up for and they emailed you about to follow up on, and then you still didn't show up. That's cray to me. So that's pretty much what I do as a media coach, is help my clients get prepared to go on to different podcasts, to do media. Now, I don't book you. Now there's a difference. I'm not the one that books you your different interviews. That's not my job. My job is to train you to when you get them. And sometimes you can say, well, I have a publicist, but that the publicist's job is to get you the interview, not necessarily to train you for the interview. Now, there are some publicists that do try to be media coaches, but think about this. They're a publicist. So their job is not to train you how to do the interview, but to get you the interview. So that's something that you have to start thinking about. And then the biggest thing, invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself to take yourself to the next level, then what are you going to do? And that's what you have to start thinking about when you're getting ready, especially now that pretty much everything is going virtual. I don't care when we come out of this, because people are seeing how simple this is to host a podcast, host a conference from their house, from their closet, literally from their closet. Then you're going to start seeing a lot of this. And if you don't have the personality or enough information to share, you're not going to be ready for this. You're going to go real quick. So that's coaching piece number one. Coaching piece number two is that I have a publishing company. So I work with authors and speakers to develop sharing their stories so they can develop their stories and to make multiple streams of income. Because a lot of times, a lot of people feel like their story isn't worth it, their story isn't powerful, their story is just simple. And I said, you know what? That's not the case, because you have to realize that everybody's testimony is different. Everybody's story is so different, but then they're so much the same. Because a lot of times, I'm not taking anything away from anybody that's had a tragic past. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm not taking away that, you may have been molested at 12 and you were a survivor. I'm not taking away that you may have came out of a domestic violence. I'm not taking that away. But that's not everybody's testimony. Sometimes we do need to hear from the person that did it right and still has not accomplished what they want to do. You went to school, you got the degree. You wasn't, how old folks used to say, loosey floosey, but still you don't feel fulfilled. But then once you started to feel fulfilled, how did you get to that point? And so that's a story that people need to hear, again, not taking away from anybody that had to go through so much, not saying that, not taking away from anybody's story, but everybody's story has purpose and it has a plan, and it's worth telling. So
right.
those are the two areas that I have.
Okay. So I want to know about the tea. I had saw something about you was the co-host of the tea, and I want to know about the tea.
Oh my God, y'all, that was like the experience of a lifetime. I was a co host on the show called The Tea, and The Tea was an online book review show where I had, depending on what season you watch, anywhere from 3 to 4 co hosts with me. And so we would get different books and just talk about them on our show. I stayed with the show for we stayed pretty much doing shows, producing shows for about 5 or 6 years, and it just we couldn't find a niche for it. There was a niche, but you couldn't really. It was like it was kind of it was almost to the point now that I'm thinking about it. If we had launched it now, it probably would have blew up because everybody's at home and was looking for something to watch. But when we launched it, it just wasn't. It just couldn't get the traction that we needed to take it to that next level. But yeah, I love doing the tea because we had to read books, we got to converse about books, we got to talk about the characters. It was almost like had being in a book club, but live and in living color. And you got to see some real women, and it wasn't ratchet TV. It wasn't like we was throwing stuff at each other. It wasn't like we was fighting each other, but we were just talking about the authors, talking about the characters, talking about the themes, and that's pretty much what the tea was.
Okay. So is that what made you want to start conversations with Deborah?
Actually, no, I had actually started working them kind of simultaneously, but I will say it pushed me to take it to the next level. Now I'm getting ready to say something, y'all, and I need y'all not to take it the wrong way. Sometimes you own other folks' stuff to push you to say, if I can do all this work for them, then I can go ahead and do that for myself. If I'm getting up every other weekend to drive to Jersey because we taped in New Jersey, if I can get up and drive to Jersey at that time living in Baltimore to tape this show, why can't I tape my own show and put in that same energy? And then I had someone, my mentor told me that. They were like, I'm gonna be on Team Deborah regardless of whatever decision you make. But think about this. If you're giving that much energy to something that really isn't profiting you, giving you a profit, then why don't you put that same energy into developing your own platform? Because you are doing to do it your way. And I was like, oh, well, all right then. So that's how that all came together.
Okay. So you also teach media in high school?
OMG, you are really going down my line. You bringing it all up. Yes, ma'am. I am a high school teacher, but not for long. Thank you, Jesus. I have been delivered. But it ain't beneath me because I tell anybody, baby, keep them teaching license. You never know when you have to pull them babies out. But anywho, yes, I am a mass media teacher, which has been amazing because when they hired me, it was kind of different because they were looking for a media teacher, but I'm not a real editor. I don't consider myself an editor. And I told them, I said, now if I have to learn the software, I can, but I have a degree to talk. So if you want me to come in and teach your kids how to speak properly, how to do do different things, then that's what I could. That would be my goal. So it was been an awesome journey at Coolidge High School in Washington D.C., working with my babies to see how they have grown, even doing this virtual learning. My co-teacher and I, we decided to do like a one-room schoolhouse where we had grades 9 through 12 in the same, basically in the same environment, virtual environment, and we gave them all the same question. And the cool part is that this is where I tell teachers you got to start thinking smarter, not harder. True enough, you got 9 through 12, but if I ask them the same question, you have to expect different answers because a ninth grader's exposure is totally different than a 12th grader's exposure. Even down to the videos they produce, it was so cool. So just being able to operate in that area of creativity was amazing. And just to see how our kids have blossomed from the 2 years that we have really started to put things together for our mass media program was amazing. So definitely making the switch with them and being able to help them out and realize what they're capable of doing, then that really has been that's been like a good motivator for me to keep pushing and also to keep pushing myself, because the cool part is what I told them. I said, y'all are blessed to be in an industry where you have your two teachers are still in the industry. It's not like we're teaching because we can't. We're teaching because we can and we do. So you're getting multiple pieces of exposure from your teachers because we can still we still got connect. We still, as we say, we still got a couple connects here and there. So So that was been the cool part. And then my favorite thing is when I tell them, "Oh, baby, I'm Googleable. Are you?" And that opens that door up for so training new social media marketers, training people that kids that can start looking at analytics. Stop being the one that's posting, but start figuring out how to post to be successful.
Exactly. Exactly. I like telling people that. Look me up. But anyway. So tell me your experience because I've heard some horror stories from the parent side, from the virtual classrooms and stuff. But from what you're saying, it sounds like it was like a piece of cake for you guys.
Well, because we enter into it with a plan.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. So many people waited for the district to tell them what to do. As soon as they told me we were going to be out virtual, I said that was right up my alley because I was already doing my shows via Zoom, via StreamYard, whatever platform I was using. I was used to being online and just talking to the kids, and not talking to the kids, but talking to the people. Now, where the parents had a problem is that you have to kind of look at that not every household has computers. Not every household has internet. And then if you got more than 2 or 3 kids, not okay, come on now. How many households got 5 computers? Most of them got two, and y'all got to share 'em. You do your homework, you go do something else. You go do something else, you go do something else, or y'all work together. But at this instance, now you got the elementary school kid, they got to be online at a certain time. Then the middle schooler got to be online, and then the high schooler, and it's like everybody got to be online at the same time, and it was never jigs. You didn't have a way of kind of like multitasking that stuff, and so a lot of it, and then some of it, some people were using software they had never used before. So yeah, there were some horror stories, but and then the packet piece, that was a whole nother issue. I was just like, that's crazy. I said, I'm not doing that. But it's all about how simplistic the teacher and or the district lets you be, and then how tech savvy, and that's another thing, how tech savvy some of the parents are, because even though, like for us, we were already using Google Classroom in our classroom, so that meant that our kids were used to using that interface of being virtual to a certain degree, because I was like, I'm gonna have a paperless classroom. So that's what I did. That was one of the goals I had. But not everybody thought like that, because you still have teachers in the classroom and parents that are still old school in the thinking that, hey, we can only school is only done with a pen and pen and paper. School is only done with certain things, and not necessarily the being able to do it on your tablet, do it on your laptop, doing it on your phone. And then the other piece, everything can't be done on your phone, because a lot of times people trying to type papers on phones, that don't work. Y'all, come on now. Come on, let's graduate. Let's graduate. But that's part of the thing. So some of the horror stories people had, like some people just don't do well with talking in front of a computer. They really don't. It's not that they can't do it, they just don't do it well. They don't feel comfortable with that. But some best practice. Some people have really developed some best practices to move forward. So
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit more about this conversations with Deborah because you know I'm one of them. I'm one of those people. I've been to the end of the internet and back, and then they had to build some more internet for me to go to the end of that and back. So I like Google and stuff. But
hmm
it was a few of the pieces that I had seen with conversations with Deborah, and I just wanted to know shoe game. What in the world is shoe game, and how I need to understand this shoe game thing.
my God, you really dug deep. So what we did, see, I'm gonna have to watch you. You one of them. See, y'all got to watch some of these reporters. They be digging too deep. Make sure all my shows is on point. But anywho, with shoe game, I love shoes, y'all. So I partnered with a young lady that sold shoes. And so the whole thing with shoe game is that she was gonna give me a different pair of shoes to wear for that segment, and we were gonna talk about it. So we were gonna develop it to be like a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of situation for shoes. And so it started out really cool, but then you know how that goes. Stuff happened. So that was just one of the segments that we wanted to get back up and running, because y'all, I love shoes. Cause okay, real talk. I moved and I realized that yeah, it was a lot of boxes of shoes. So anyway, I really could do shoe game again and just go put the shoes that's in my closet.
Okay, because I was really thinking about it. I was like, shoe game, is she actually showing off shoes?
We
So
did, we did.
can we bid on the shoes? Can we buy the shoes?
Oh, wait a minute. I did a whole episode on shoes. I had a shoe party online. A whole show had moves for my birthday. So we did like different segments, recipes. We did like okay, I love recipes. I love cookbooks. That was a whole nother reason how I even got on the T because I auditioned talking about they were like, we're looking for certain women that like to read books. I said, well, I love to read books, but I love to read cookbooks because all of the stories that go with the dishes that are made. So I'm like, yes, that's what I do. And they were like, you know what? That's why we call, and that's okay. That's another thing with media coaching. I'm sorry, let me jump around. Do things that people are going to remember you by. Don't do stuff that everybody doing. Who in the world gonna audition with a goddamn cookbook for a book talk show? Normally, you would have got a book, some. Yes, I'm into Shakespeare, all the wonderful writers, and you talking about Zora Neale Hurston, and you ain't even that deep. Talk about what you know, and then do something that's gonna make people think. Because that was the first thing they said. They was like, you know what? We remember George. You was talking about them cookbooks. Some cookbooks did. I said, baby, them cookbooks saved my whole life. Don't play with me, because I got to go in the kitchen and play and do some stuff, and then read the stories behind it. And a lot of times people don't look at the stories that are in cookbooks, and it gives you a lot of background on some of the recipes, especially when we start looking at some of the recipes from our African American heritage. Especially the cookbook that I liked that had some really cool stories was the Tuskegee cookbook. Tuskegee University has a cookbook talking about all the different meals. Okay, but that's a whole different issue. But anywho, but yeah, so that's the cool part on that. So that's how Shoe Game and all the different segments came up with the show.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to find out about recipe diaries because that's what you was talking about. See, I told
Yep.
you I was paying attention.
See.
So I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna have to go back and actually look at all of the shows because she do have all of the shows online, so you
Hmm.
can go back and look at them. And it's Mondays at 7 p.m. or
Yes, we no, right now we are off for the summer. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, y'all take your break, baby. Take your break. And after Rona, you're gonna need a whole good break. Take your break so you're not going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So we are taking the summer off. We will be back in September on Thursday nights at 7, unless we do some rearranging because we're going to be looking at our demographics. We're going to be looking at our analytics and see what night works best. Because also during Rona, let's just be real honest and clear, everybody was online and it got a little crowded. So if you already had your audience, then it got crowded because then people were coming on at the same time you were, so your audience really never saw you on. And y'all, that's another thing you got to pay attention to when you're looking at your analytics of what's happening. So that's part of what, and that's another reason why we're taking the summer off, so we can reevaluate everything that we did. We're not taking the summer off just to say, hey, we ain't doing no shows. We're taking the summer off so we can reevaluate and come back stronger. So we will be replaying a lot of the old shows so you can get re-familiar with what we've been doing and kind of tease you a little bit and where we're going to be going in the next season.
all right, all right. So I want to thank you for coming because I know the background. So hey, girl, you did it.
Most
That's why you
definitely.
Dr. Deborah. Okay, I don't care. That's why you Dr. Deborah. But I want you to tell everybody how to get in contact with you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Guys, I am everywhere. Conversations Deborah Franklin everywhere, and Deborah Franklin on all platforms. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Did I say Instagram? Yeah, I think I did.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're on all social media platforms. We have not done TikTok yet because I'm not that talented, and I don't do what is that other thing my brother was doing? Something where you only put the video up for a little short time and then it disappeared. I don't do that either. So the ones
Snapchat.
that I did, Snapchat, yeah, I tell everybody I'm too old for that. That's too much. My whole brain can't function that fast, so I have to stay in my lane. So, and then that's why I have one of my millennial students helping me with my social media. So see there. That's how you have to do them things, baby. You get
Exactly.
somebody to help you do what
Exactly.
you don't like to do. Not that
Exactly.
you can't, just because
Exactly.
you don't like to do it.
Yeah, that's how I get paid. That's how I get paid right there because people don't like doing their social media and they know call your girl Candy with an E. You know I got you. Uh, It is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. So again, this has been the 3M virtual conference. I thank you all because you know it's Monday, and you know Monday is always one of them days where everything that can happen happen. But guess what? We ain't gonna let it happen on us.
Mm-mm.
How about that?
How
So
about that?
we're gonna shut this down because it's Monday, and we're gonna be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. and we're gonna have Stevie Aisha Mills in
Woo
the
woo.
so, hey, again, I told y'all this week right here, all the powerful people this week. So Stevie is going, she's a PR person. How about that?
Yup.
So that's all I
She
got to
is.
say. And if you don't know, you'll find out tomorrow. And you know how I do. I don't like telling y'all about them until they show up. Then you be like, oh my God, yes, I have friends in high places, even though they don't act that way. So anyway, it's your girl Candy with the E. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Dr. Deborah Franklin, and we will see
Thank
you
you.
guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Deuces.